I'm always looking hella tired. Like, damn. Hi, you guys. Y'all know I'm going live as usual. Give part of my testimony. And I'm gonna let y'all know now. Tonight, this testimony not like the ones that I've been giving for the past few days. This one is different. This one is a little bit deeper. We about to dig a little bit deeper because now we finna start talking about what was really on the inside. So I had guided y'all through 2015, 2016, you feel me? And we hit 2017. So I say it's going to get deeper because for me to, as the years go along, that's as it start getting deeper and deeper for me. It start changing. The changes become more significant to me. So I mentioned how I left off on how I had got released from jail and everything that I knew that I didn't have no more. But I knew better than that because God had shown me in my dreams that I didn't have my home no more with my first love. I didn't have anything that I had built with him. I didn't have anymore. And you know, it's really damaging when you go from learning how to go through life like in separation from a person and then you experiencing getting them back and then you go and then you guys rebuild again and then having them get snatched away from you again, you know, it kind of traumatizes you in a way. A lot of people don't know how to deal with stuff like that. So me, I was hurt, I was devastated. So when I finally made it back to Bakersfield, I'm not gonna lie to anyone, when I made it into the house, I went in the bathroom and I sat there and I cried so hard like someone had died because I couldn't believe that what was happening to me was actually like happening. I couldn't control it. I couldn't do nothing about it. I couldn't do anything about it at all. I couldn't believe that I had to go along with life and all I could think in my mind was, okay, you know what? This is it. I don't even want to be involved with nobody no more. And not to mention, Storm had woke up out of her coma before I even got released out of jail. She had woke up out of her coma. So that was one of the best things that could have happened. I mean, you feel me? Some of the best news that I could have got going through the situation I was going through. Like, you feel me? Because I knew that would happen anyway. So that was one of the best things that could have happened. Other than that, I thought to myself, like, I don't want to deal with nobody no more. I don't want to be around anybody anymore. I'm good alone. Like, I'm good alone. Like, I don't want to be alone, but I'm good alone. I could do better by myself. Like, you know, I started to think in my mind, like, maybe it's me. Like, maybe I really am the problem. Like, you know, everywhere I go, it's like something's negative is happening. Everywhere I go, it's like something bad is happening. Like, I don't feel like I'm fit. I don't feel like I'm welcome. I don't feel like, you know, I'm the good person that I'm trying to be. I don't feel like, you know, I don't feel like it's there. Sometimes you can have everything that you need, but you don't feel like you got it yet because you don't see it. But you got it, though. You got it. Like, sometimes you really got to go to war on your weakness. Because if you go to war thinking you just are so strong, oh so strong, you don't even know you're weak in some areas. You can go to war with full armor on and get shot in your neck. Like, fully. Like, you got to know that there's still some areas where you're weak at. Like, honestly, like, don't think you're strong at all times. Like, you're not always strong when you think you're strong. So, I didn't want to be involved with anything or anybody. I just wanted to stay true to what I was originally on, which was God. You feel me? So I cried it out. You feel me? I woke up every day. I started writing my letters. I didn't stop this time when I got out of jail. I didn't stop. I continuously wrote. I continuously fast. I continuously prayed. I continuously did everything I needed to do. So I didn't need nobody. I didn't care about nobody. I love my God. Like, the way I love him now, I learned to love him then. Like, I loved him. Everything about him, everything he was showing me about him, I loved him. It was like, okay, one day I'm sitting in the front yard and I'm playing nothing but old music, like nothing but the old music that I grew up to, like Betty Wright and Patti LaBelle and ZZ Hill and you feel me, like Keith Sweat. I'm playing all the good music that you be looking like, what you know about that? Like I'm playing it though, and usually it's normal for me. I would play music like that all the time, but for some reason, I don't know, it's like I was thinking about family, like bringing everybody together and like, bringing peace and harmony and just, at least like trying to be that glue again, because sometimes when you go through so much as a family, you guys become separated in a way. Though you still love each other, it's like it's kind of divided. And being a kid growing up in that, you want to be able to have your family and your family feel like that they have you and that they have each other and that y'all together and that y'all still love each other. I'm thinking about all of this. My sister came up there, joined me. We singing, dancing, we bringing up memories and stuff. Why later on that night I get the message that my granny passes away. Don't get me wrong. We already knew that she was sick with cancer, but I didn't expect it to be like that. But when you're trying to get on the right track, like when you spent most of the time not on the right track, and when you finally get on the right track, and then when you finally get there, because nothing else is going to wait on you. Like, it's not going to wait on you. So that's why you need to get on it when God tells you to get it, when he presents it to you. You don't need to be playing around with your blessings. Because I was playing around. I didn't have time. Like, the time that I wanted with them, I didn't have no more. She's gone. They were gone. Like, I can't go back and reminisce. All I could do is reminisce the memories. And memories hurt sometimes when you didn't get to do the things that you wanted to do with them people because they're gone now. So I was hurt. I was so hurt. Like, I cried the most. Like, I'm like, wow, again? Like, you didn't learn your lesson? Like, you didn't learn your lesson at all? Like, this time, it's not even about none of that. Like, you was dealing with love. But I always had my granny and my godmom tell me, stop worrying about love. You worry about all the wrong things. Stop worrying about love. Work on you need to live. Love is gonna come. Like, you ever work on yourself and do what you need to do for yourself and love yourself and do all the work you need to do for yourself, and then like love just end up in your lap, that person just hugging you tight and you hugging the person back tight before you realize it, it's like, whoa, we're in love. You love me, I love you. It's been how many years? 20 what? Huh? Like, that's just how it goes. If you spend all your life worrying about love, then you won't get anything else done. Like, you gotta learn. And most times when you worry about love, you put all your eggs in one basket and you just feel like you're not getting anywhere. I'm not saying nothing wrong. I really went through it. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but it's some folk that's out there that's like that, and you gotta be strong enough to admit it, because I wasn't strong enough to admit it myself. So I got the message that my grandma had passed away, and I was devastated. I ended up going to LA, going to the funeral and everything. And as usual, when I see my family in LA, I'm happy. And, like, no matter what, but it's like, it's painful, because it's like, I remember what it was like when I was younger. And now I know what it's like now that I'm older. And if only I would have paid attention, if only I would have listened to what y'all was saying. Like, if only I would have not been so big-headed and I would have just listened and not learned the hard way. I would have spent all the time that I could with y'all. Like, honestly, I would have spent all the time that I could with y'all. Like, so love your elders, love your family, love your friends. Like, stop being like, well, if we fell out, then we just fell out. Ain't no forgiveness. Like, you don't even have to forgive yourself first. Like, forgive yourself and then forgive them. Like, you need to forgive, because if you don't, you're going to be the one bitter. You're going to be the one having it on your heart. And at the end of the day, when you're being judged, in your heart, God knows, he go off of what's in your heart. And if your mouth can say you forgave, you could be saying you forgave all you want to, but if your heart didn't, then you're going to still be speaking mean to that person when you don't have to. You're going to still be being mean to that person when you don't have to. So always forgive. I had to learn that, because I almost got like resentful, and I always got like angry, because it was like, dang, I still didn't learn my lesson. Like, and I did not learn not to blame the people. It was my fault. It was my fault. I still didn't learn my lessons. So I really was beating up on myself bad. I had moved to LA now. I was living out there, and I had enrolled into school, because I could have at least been doing something productive. I started back going to church again, but within doing all of this stuff, because you know when you leave from it, you know for surely I wasn't going way to Bakersfield or anything to go to church. I had to go back to my home church that I originally grew up in. So I was going to church again at First Timothy Missionary Baptist Church. And that's where I got baptized at. I ended up getting baptized and everything. And so slowly but surely I would stop like hurting myself. When I say I would be hurting myself, like my body and my heart and my mind was so not together with itself that I would literally lash out. Like I would lash out. Like I would feel so like dang, like I would feel so much like a broken person, like a broken everything, that I would lash out. But what is any good of making yourself a victim, of victimizing yourself and vulnerabilizing yourself? What is any good? You need to speak life into yourself. You need to speak strength into yourself. And I had to learn that. Like, that's the point. That's part of not needing people. You don't really need people to speak life into you if you just go in the mirror. You speak life into yourself. Like before I went live, and I spoke life into my. I'm like, look at you, man, looking cool, looking good, lip gloss popping, you know, skin looking. Ooh. Now I'm just playing, but no, for real. Like, you know, I just was cool. Like, you feel me? Got myself to where I need to be. Gave myself my love that I needed to give myself. You feel me? Nobody gonna love you more than you love yourself. Like, you know, and I was me. Like, I'm not about to. I don't need to go put on no eyelashes or nothing. Lip gloss is fine. You feel me? Carmex is fine. Like, I don't need to go and keep getting extra bomb for the people. I gotta know. If y'all can't accept me like this and how I'm talking and I got a loud voice, yes, I speak very loud and I sing the same way. Like, I really do. If y'all can't handle that, then it must not be, you feel me? It must not be meant. Like, it must not be I must not be the person for you. Like, I'ma always be me though. Like, you feel me? I'ma always love me. You feel me? Like, you should always love you. You feel me? So I go to school now. I'm going to school now because I didn't graduate high school, so I was going to school for my GED. So basically, I'm learning priorities and responsibilities. I'm getting I'm learning how to get an ID and a social now, you know, because I just turned 18, you know. I'm getting a job now, like, but I didn't have to do any of this because I received my own, you feel me, my own anything. I was blessed with my own from being a baby. Like, the Lord made that happen for me. But I did it anyways because I love to do things productively. I don't like to be a person that's just always sitting down, like, what are you rooting off of, you know? So I went out there and I did it, you feel me? Surprisingly, you know, when you don't sit there and let your mind just build on negativity and let your mind just sit there and beat on itself, you actually start elevating differently. Like, because you going and you doing new things. Like, don't ever let yourself get so bored, because let me tell you something. The person I was in love with, my first love, the person that I gave that title to, that I gave that power to, he had came back and I had let him back in. I had let him back in because I was so bored. I was so bored with what I was doing. I'm okay. I always do this. Like, I'm good. Like, he not gonna take nothing from me. Like, you know, I'm good now. Like, you feel me? And not only did he come back in, but like I said, I wanted to be the glue for my family, but I couldn't be that at that time because he was a distraction. I had distractions now, and I wasn't even smart enough to be understanding of that. Like, I was just so bored that I wanted to do something other than what was right. So I just let him back in, being human, you know, like, just being so honest. So all of these different type of, like, blockages and, you feel me, things coming into my pathway trying to stagnate me, I ended up losing everything that I just got. And if y'all following me here, y'all like, she just hard-headed. Like, she didn't took the same test like 3 times and then failed each time. You don't want to be like I was. You don't, like, be obedient. Be obedient. Listen to yourself. When your body start feeling sweaty or your body start feeling like like hot or like, you know, like alarmed, you need to listen to it. Cause like how right now I'm chilling, like, you know, I don't feel no type of way. But if I came near like anything, like a person, or I went towards a home or anything like that, and my body start reacting, like I get goosebumps and I feel chills and, you know, everything like that. It's like, maybe you shouldn't be there. Maybe you should leave. Maybe you should go the other way. Maybe that's not good for you. But us, most times, we like, ooh, this is a feeling I ain't ever felt before. Ooh, like, this, that rush. Like, I'm finna do it. Like, No, because now you don't even know you're finna be sitting here crying about why, Lord, why am I in this now? How did I get into this hole? He like, I just sent you a full stop sign. Like, it could have smacked you in the face if it wanted to. But you didn't care. You went along with the black eye and continued to do what you wanted to do. Like, my body warning me and all that, but I'm gonna fight against it and I'm gonna do what I want to do. We just don't learn, because I didn't care. I surely didn't care at the moment. You feel me? I didn't notice that was what was holding me down. I'm like, but what? Like, I feel like I'm happy. Like, no, I did not know what true happiness was, because I had never fully had it yet. Like, I was still learning. I didn't know what real happiness or real love fully just was yet, other than what I gave myself, what I knew of in myself, what I had been doing with myself. Like, I didn't know how to accept it from people. Like, it's levels to everything. So I ended up losing my car. I ended up having to leave from where I was at. I had to leave. I left twice. I've switched homes twice out there. And so I ended up just leaving, period, from Los Angeles and going right back to San Bernardino. And this is something that I would not have ever thought I would have did, but I ended up doing anyways. And so I ended up going, and I was like low-key, like, going from like friend to friend house and stuff, and I ended up going. This is when God put courage into me to go to a person to forgive them and look at things in a different light, because I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna do it. So I went and I ended up seeing Quinche, and she ended up being the big blessing in my life when I went into her. When I went and I came to her. And she ended up being a very big blessing in my life. So I ended up, basically, she ended up helping me, because I ended up losing my ID. I ended up losing everything that I worked hard for out in LA. And it wasn't nothing personal like that. Like, still all the love. They love me. I love them. No love lost. It wasn't nothing like that. It was my time. Everything had to change because I wasn't obedient to what I was told to do. So I ended up moving with her. She ended up helping me get my ID. She ended up helping me get my social. She ended up helping me get everything I needed to get, and I feel like God allowed the older figure to be there in my life, because that's what I needed at the time, because I was still young, and I was hanging out with people that was young, like in my age bracket. So, like sometimes you need that older figure, like an older sister figure, or like, like an older motherly type figure, like, just to be around so that you just stay on the right path, like how, because sometimes when you go around the wrong people, that's how you end up in the wrong stuff. Like, you surround yourself with people who do things like you, who do things that's in common with you. Like where you trying to get, they should be trying to get in the same. Whatever you're doing, y'all should be on the same level. It shouldn't be anything different than that. So I ended up, because my mind went into survival mode. Now, how I'm thinking in survival mode, I'm still praying to everything, but I ended up becoming a stripper. Literally, like, I ended up becoming a full stripper. Like, I ended up going and, buying the clothes and dancing and going to the clubs. But let me tell you something, it did not last long. And I could have been a person who was going to live that life for good. And I could have been, somewhere way in Chicago somewhere, like, really making whatever. Like, I could have did anything. Like, and it was fun, but it just wasn't for me. It's not for me. This is for me. I could have did anything. But I was a full dancer. I went and I started auditioning for clubs. I started training and everything. But I would always get a tug to my heart, and it'd be like, no, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing this. Like, and it'd be crazy, because my dreams they don't leave. Like, they don't leave. You continue to get them. Like, everything, it's like, now you're like, you fighting yourself, like I said before, and you fight in the spirit too. You don't want to fight the spirit. You don't want to fight the Holy Ghost. You don't want to fight God. You don't want to fight Jesus. Like, what are you doing? You're losing. Like, you don't want to do that. I was doing that though. I was really fighting him. But thinking I wasn't fighting him, because I was praying to him, because he was making sure that I got there and back safe. And, like, I'm thinking, but that's not what he wanted me to do. So, I kid you not, I'd have to say maybe a month or so or two down the line, my first love ended up getting released out of jail. He ended up popping up out of nowhere. Like, and when I tell you I was lost in the sauce, like, I was living life. Like, I didn't care about nothing, nobody. Like, I did not care. Like, peace was my middle name. Like, I was glowing. I had cut my hair. I had finger waves at this point. Like, I didn't care about nothing. You feel me? And I did stay prayed up. Like, you feel me? I didn't care about not a thing. I'm be honest with you. But then here came that person again, and I allowed them back in again. See, that was my problem. Because not only was I allowing things in that I wasn't supposed to be allowing in, but I didn't even, it was something from my past. You don't want to go back to old habits. Don't go back to old habits. That's like a dog going back to its own throat and eating it. You don't want to do that. Like, you are supposed to be changing and continuously changing for the better. Like, literally. You don't want to go back to your old habits and how you used to be. You don't want to be like that. Because a person going to continue to take as much as you give them. They ain't going to tell you stop. It's good. They like it. You giving it to them. Continue. Come on. Give me everything. That's how it is. You got to be the person to put that stop to it. Like, okay, I've had enough. I'm tired now. You got to be the one to really get on your knees and really pray and say, Lord, I really have had enough. Like, I really need this deliverance. Like, I'm really genuinely crying out to you from my heart. Please hear me. Like, please take me from this. And when he do it, don't go back. Don't go back. Don't do it. Because not only is you're gonna stay in it for a while, because he's gonna come get you when he feel like he's ready now, not when you feel like you're ready. So don't go back, and you're gonna learn this lesson. Like when I tell you, if you don't learn this lesson this time, because I learned my lesson this time. Like when I tell you I learned my lesson this time for real, all the money that I had it wasn't good money anyways, but I lost it all on paying for hotel rooms and everything. I ended up dropping out of school because I had enrolled into school there. I was dancing and going to school. I had dropped out of school there, like, you feel me? I got a job because I stopped dancing. After I got in my relationship, I got a job. You know, I ended up working with security and stuff. My best friend that I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, which was Mother, that was my best friend. We weren't best friends, like, no more, but that's gonna always be my friend, period. That's gonna always be my sister, period. She came back around and we was cool again, and she's the one who actually helped me get the job for security. She helped me get that job fast, like, so I was happy. I told her thank you for that. God helped her. He came through her and let her bless me fast with that job. And then 2 weeks after that, I got my car. So I had my job. I was working in my security. I had my job now. I was doing good. Like, you know, relationship was cool. Like, I mean, it was stuff going on, but I chose to see the positive in everything that was going on. Like, you know, I wasn't trying to see nothing negative in what was going on. I was trying to choose to see the positive in everything that was going on. But then I started fighting, and I hadn't fought in years. Like, I started fighting over the person that we were supposed to be in love. It was supposed to be, that's why you don't worry about love. I started getting into fights. I lost my job. Like, I lost my car. Like, all in, like, 3 days. Like, all over again. Like, it was like, okay, like, because when you go and take something that don't belong to you, and this hurt me when I first heard it. When you take something that don't belong to you, that God didn't give you, he gonna take something that he did give you. Real life. So don't go and be doing something you're not supposed to be doing, or taking something that don't belong to you doing, because he gonna do something that he did give to you. He really is, or he will put it on pause. So, like, don't do it. Because when I did that, I lost everything. But I literally still didn't. I left, moved to Bakersfield, then moved out towards Arizona. Got a job out there. Worked there for a month, then moved back. Then once I left from Arizona, this when I started doing this. I literally started looking into the ministry stuff, and I started looking into what does it mean to be a minister? Like, am I really called to be a minister? And come on now, don't act like I ever went to Google and, you know, be like, what other people awakenings was like, what other people callings was like, you know, like how did they, you know, you become really curious, like. And I remember sitting down before I even really took on the mission, and I was talking to someone. I told him, I said, I'm scared. I don't think that he's really calling me to be a minister, because who would listen to me? Why would they listen to me out of all people? And then I was just a dancer. Like, look at the life that I live. Like, who would listen to me? Like, who would really sit and listen to me? And I'm only 20 years old. Like, I wasn't even 20. I'm 21 now, I'm going to 22, but I was only 20 years old. Like, who would listen? That person told me, like, anybody, like, any preacher that I would come across with them, they told me, who wouldn't listen? You done been, and they grew with you, they walk with you, they talk with you, you feel me? They live with you. Who wouldn't listen? Who wouldn't listen to what you've been through? They know that you've been through it. They lived it with you. You've been through some things with them too. Who would not listen? And then on top of that, you're around their age. Like, who would not listen? But being around their age, I know that our generation is hard-headed. Like, it don't matter if you're 50, it don't matter if you're 20, it don't matter if you're 16. If you're not opening your heart, then you're not going to be open nowhere else. Like, there, people, I mean, you know, but that wasn't for me to be judgmental over, me to be nothing. God told me do it. I should just move immediately and just did it, you know? But I took what she said into consideration. And so once I left, because I left from out there, like, when I tell you when I left from out there, I cut the line, like, I cut everything, like, I left, like, I was done with everything. There was no more opening the door back again. There was no more nothing. Like, I was ready for everything new in my life. I went out. I ended up taking the steps that I needed to take to get my license in ministry. So I have an ordained minister license, like, honestly, but I'm still training because there's levels to this. Like, I more life want to say that I'm an evangelist, even though I have my license. I want to more say that I'm an evangelist because I'm still training. I'm still out here training. Like, you feel me? Like, me giving my testimony is my first boost. Like, because nobody knows that your testimony will touch a lot of people. Like, your testimony gives people strength to go and get saved so that they can be able to give their testimony, and then it can save more people, and then, you know, so on and so on. I left. I went to Bakersfield, and I got on my stuff, and I started going to church out there. I found the church out there, and I ended up going and talking to my preacher and showing him my license and letting, you know, he already knew. So he started classes there at his church also. Hi, best friend. Hi, everybody. I'm just, like, I'm just going in right now. Like, hi, Norma. Hi, Marquise. Well, I know who you are. Hi, Richard and Deanna and everybody. Hi, all of y'all. I'm just really just going in right now because you got to push. You got to press. You got to stay focused. So, when I tell you it wasn't easy. It don't be easy. Whatever task you're going to take up, make sure you're dedicated to it. Like, how you be dedicated to going to the store and getting what you want from that store, you need to be dedicated to your change. You need to be dedicated to your walk with Jesus, because it's not going to just be easy. It's not going to be easy at all, you know? Not at all. Because it wasn't easy for me. And you know how this coronavirus is going on right now? This is what he started showing me. He started showing me dreams about this. And now I understand why he has me on here speaking, how he got me speaking, but I had to start with myself. Because if the word don't hit the preacher first, it's a problem. If the message don't hit the speaker first, there's a problem. But he showed me then, and I didn't know how to get it out, but he showed me then that if you don't repent, if you don't plead the blood of the Lord, you will surely perish. He showed me then. That I didn't know that it would be a sickness like I didn't know it would come in the coronavirus. I did know that it would be some people would die. Some people would be feared, but it would be mostly fear. But it will come for the vulnerable, and it will come for the kids. It will come for the babies. That's exactly what he showed me. But if you would plead, and you would just plead the blood of Jesus, and you would pray, and you would turn away from the ways that you know, and stop worshiping these idols, and it's like how y'all be doing Summer Walker, and how y'all be doing Megan Thee Stallion and all these. Don't y'all know y'all worshiping them? How y'all be doing Chris Brown and all them? Don't y'all know y'all are worshiping these people? Nipsey Hussle, don't y'all know y'all are worshiping them? Like, it's a good thing. It's the way you pay your respect. Like, it's the way you pay your respect to people. once you start gloating and boasting and all of that, that's you don't need to be. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not worship any idols. Thou shalt not have any other gods other than me. Thou shalt not place any god before me. Those are the 10 Commandments. All you have to do is plead the blood of Jesus. All you have to do, literally. But I didn't understand that. Like sometimes like with me, I didn't understand the message that I didn't understand the full message that I would get. Like to where I would literally have to sit there and I have to pray and I have to tell him, God, can you like make it more to where it's more discreet so I can understand more. Like when I tell you I got videos, like when I get off of here, like tomorrow I'm going to upload this video because exactly what I'm telling y'all I was speaking in my video, and I could feel his presence over me, and I was crying, like I was crying, and I was just speaking his word. So I will post that video in here. I don't know why he just put it on my heart for me to say it, so I had to say it just now. But basically, I started the walk and I started to talk of my ministry, and I ended up graduating that class, and I ended up going out and preaching the words of God, and I ended up preaching the gospel of Jesus, and like telling people what I've been through, not just preaching the word itself, but telling people like what God did for me, like what I'm doing now. I just didn't have cameras around, I ain't ever really been a person like this, like, but I have to be like this. You have to. You can't care about what these people, what these different kind of, because people are different. Everybody's different. I'm different. Nobody's the same. No one's the same at all. Like, at all. We're not. No one's the same. Only thing we all have in common is that we have the same God. Like, and you got to know that right now, while this coronavirus is floating around, like, y'all got to stop panicking so much. Stop being so fearful. Stop doing that. Don't. Because y'all startling these kids. Y'all startling, like, y'all got to understand, like, and if you panicking and you're doing all this, do you know Jesus? Like, do you know him honestly? And it's like, yeah, like Faith said, the churches are closed, yes, but the church not closed, really, because it starts at home. It starts with you. It starts at home. The temple is the body. Like, you feel me? So you got to start with yourself. And then once you start with yourself and you got in your heart, you can start to plant the seed in other people. And that's when we become on one accord. So I was learning these things, and I was going out, and I was taking it into my daily routine, and I'm learning to walk it and talk it, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have been obedient. I have been listening to everything he was saying, but my heart was so big that it began to get in my way. I began to allow it to get in my way. Because, you know that song, Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama said it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve. That song, right? Okay, so it's true though. What he was saying, that song is really true. Like, I don't know if that was that was the best kind of song to be singing right now with that. But y'all get what I'm saying. That song is true though. Like when you have a big heart, your heart shows regardless of what you do. People's gonna sense that in you. There's people like narcissists and people that has no, even people with good in their heart and people with bad in their heart, they sense it in you. Like so you gotta kind of be careful who you let in. Like you don't gotta not love them. You can love them but at a distance. Like, you can love them, but just pray for them. Like, because you don't want to be stuck in the rabbit hole that you didn't honestly have to get into in the first place. Like, because your heart is so big. Because not everybody mean good for you. Like, not everybody means good for you. Like, that's why when you get blessings and then you start speaking on it and you don't even have them yet, and then you start speaking out loud and telling folk, and it's like, it's like they're not even happy for you. It's like, now it starts seeming harder to get your blessings. That's because sometimes people be praying on your downfall. People don't be happy for you. If you see their emotions turning downwards, you're not happy for you. Maybe you doing something that they wish that they can do. Like, honestly. Like, I'm gonna be so real with you. I had to learn so much. I had to learn that people, life, this here in this world, on this earth, this reality, this is all temporary. This is just basic instructions before leaving earth. These are just basic. These are just things. Because what we finna go after this, ain't none of this even gonna be here. We can't even do what we do here up there. Like, all this stuff, like, that's why you need to turn away from them ways now. We can't do what we did here. And so now here I am, like, to be so honest with you, here I am, because I just got it y'all all the way through 2018, and I got it y'all all the way through 2019, basically, because, 2019, I was walking and talking with Jesus, you feel me? I got it y'all through all of that, to the point to where I was doing so good that nothing or nobody, that nothing they could say could touch me. It's like, and people say like, girl, did you hear about what they said about what? Oh, pray for him. I'm pray for him. God press their heart. Like, they not know what they do. Like, pray for him. Like, I don't want to hear no gossip. Like, no. Like, that's just how I was. Like, anybody who thought that there was nothing. I was just who I was. I was true to myself. Like, it just was what it was. Like, nothing in my old life could touch me. I was in a new life. I was in a different life now. I was somewhere where I couldn't be touched. Like, God was with me. Like, he was with me all the way 100%. I was doing everything he wanted me to do for him. Like, he was with me. Like, I was in a whole different life. Like, nothing could touch me. Like, it was good. Honestly. My phone is really about to die on y'all. I said I wasn't going to be on here long anyways, and I actually got through it fast this time. Tomorrow I will be telling y'all about this year and what happened towards the end of 2019 and this year, who brings me to right now, today, me, this person in front of the screen, as I've been guiding y'all along, because after this, it don't stop here. I'm just going to go to something better now. I'm just going to go to something newer now, and because that's what you do when you want to elevate. But God bless, you feel me? Everybody stay prayed up, Rebuke that devil. Don't let him come in and steal your joy. That's what he want to do best. Rebuke that devil. Stay prayed up, and love each other. Always.